Hello and welcome to the Bullish Money YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about Sprint, which is ticker symbol S, so it's very easy to remember. Now, Sprint is what I consider to be a sleeper hit. So I wrote an article on Investor Place Media, and this was dated April 7th. And since that time, the stock has gone up a little over 4%. And I believe that as time progresses all the way up till July, we're going to see some significant movements. I think that we're going to approximately reach about $5.60 to about $5.80. And I base this mostly on the statistical probabilities of the stock, and also some of the technical trends, some of the technical performances. Now, before we get into that, Sprint is bullish for mainstream fundamental reasons, for two fundamental reasons, okay? So the first one is their deal with RadioShack. So there's going to be about 1,400 RadioShack stores where a lot of the merchandise will be Sprint merchandise, and they're going to have plaster it with a lot of the Sprint logos and marketing presence. And the other reason is a more granular, kind of very high-level reasoning, which is the favorable accounting practices or changes that occur. And that's going to create a higher income based on operating income before depreciation and amortization. And there's a huge technical white paper discussing the fact that Sprint is going to report this higher OIBDA. Now, is that something that's going to be relevant to market sentiment? I don't think so. When I looked at this white paper that was published on this very topic about the accounting changes, I mean, it just, my eyes just, glazed over, and it's just like, oh my God, there's like so many details, and it's just so, so very granular, so very minute, and talking about different transactions, how it's going to be reported this way and that way. I'm like, okay, only a CPA would find this to be interesting, and even then, I don't think a CPA really finds this to be interesting. If a CPA doesn't find it to be interesting, I guarantee you that most of the investment community will not find that interesting. That's not something that will drive sentiment or volume in this particular case. The RadioShack argument, a little bit more convincing, but again, here's my problem with the RadioShack argument. Who shops at RadioShack? I mean, the store, the retail floor at most RadioShack locations are very, very small, and it doesn't allow the customers to kind of branch out and roam out. It's not the same feeling that you get in, say, an Apple store, or even with a Sprint store, a Sprint specific store. You don't get that branching out feeling that invites customers in and invites them to browse the latest gadgets and then drive revenue that way. It doesn't, the RadioShack stores are very, very small and very tightly compartmentalized. I don't like it, so I don't really like it for that. I don't think that fundamental reason makes a whole lot of sense, but I do like the technical aspect of the stock. I do like the momentum. Now, I don't know if you can see this very clearly, but you got to look at this long-term trend. What you see here on this long-term trend is that essentially we're building a baseline of support, and so this baseline of support is holding the equity valuations. Now, of course, the stock has been very, very volatile since the end of 2013. So it was like at $11, and now it's trading at $5. So you took a 50% haircut. Nevertheless, over the very, very long term, we're starting to see this rising level of support. So that tells me that the bullish investors, the buyers, they're slowly building their portfolio. They're still slowly building their positions. And that is an excellent reason why I like that. And I also like the fact that the mainstream investors are mostly following the mainstream news about RadioShack and this OIBDA crap. And those are crap reasons to invest in something. And so the investment sentiment itself, overall, people are going to be chasing the hot stocks of the week. They're not really chasing Sprint, but Sprint is slowly but surely rising higher. Now let's talk some probabilities. Based on the stock's 90-day average performance, we're looking at a 75% probability over the next 90 days that the stock will move higher. And when it does move higher, we're talking about an average gains of about 12%. So the price target, again, about 560 to 580, that's really in line with average market expectations for the stock. And in terms of probability, I don't think it can really go wrong. You're talking about a 3 out of 4 chance that the stock will move higher. I think the earnings report for the company is about to be released shortly. I think it will be positive. I don't know for sure. I'm not forecasting what the actual earnings performance is. To be honest, I really don't care, because it's not really earnings that drives equity valuations. It's the crazy ass psychological sentiment at that time. And I'm looking at the statistical reports. I'm looking at the technical reports. It shows that the psychology is definitely trending back from bearish to bullish, and I just want to ride that wave. I want to ride that wave of momentum, and so that's why I like Sprint. Forget all the stuff about RadioShack, forget the OIBDA, and focus on the technicals, focus on the psychology of the market, focus on the probabilities. It's great stuff.